Okay, eto na naman po tayo. Panoodin po natin ang on point na 'to. On point, Romualdez, other faces criminal GRAFT charges over 2025 budget. Okay, simulan natin 'to. Pasok ang on point.
Good evening, I'm Pinky Webb. Tonight we ask the questions, we tackle the issues, we clarify matters, and we get on point. Davao del Norte Congressman Pantaleon Alvarez led the filing of criminal and graft charges against lawmakers, including House Speaker Martin Romualdez, Manuel Jose Dalipe, Elizalde Co, Stella Kimbo, and other unnamed individuals. The charges stem from the supposed blank items in the bicameral conference committee report on the 2025 budget. Lawmakers defending the budget say the complaint merely aims to divert the public's attention from the impeachment and pending trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. Let's get on point with Attorney Raul Lambino, former legal officer of Citizens Crime Watch. Attorney Raul, it's been a very long time. It's good to see you again. Welcome to the Billionaire News Channel.
Thank you, Pinky, for guesting me tonight. And I'm so happy that I see you again after so many years.
You look well.
Yeah, well, little stress.
Isa po sa mga pambato to ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, si Attorney Lambino.
Being in the private sector and being a farmer because I'm very, very concentrated now in farming. Agriculture now is my passion.
I see. Okay, so you are here tonight because this is Citizens Crime Watch.
Yes.
You were the former legal counsel
Correct, yeah.
of the Citizens Crime Watch and a supporter of this complaint that was filed before the Office of the Ombudsman.
Well, in a way, yes, because I used to be one of the legal counsels of Citizen Crime Watch at the time when the late Dante Jimenez was still around, and he was a good friend. And some of the cases that were filed by Citizens Crime Watch before, I was consulted. I was asked of whether this can be done. There's a possibility that's going to prosper. So in the same breath that when the group of Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez, former Speaker Bebot Alvarez, and Attorney Ferdy Topacio, who was also a co-counsel in some of the cases that we handled before, asked for my opinion about the possibility of filing a case against leaders of the House pertaining to the so-called bicameral conference committee report that had some blanks were left unfilled up. And I said, yeah, I think there is a basis for that because there's a provision in the revised penal code pertaining.
Yan, ito po yung hinayan nila Attorney Lambino, kasama po dito si Attorney Jimmy Bondo, Attorney Topacio, Congressman Pantaleon Alvarez, at saka po hindi ko kilala itong dalawa na to. Ito po yung sinasabi nila na diversionary tactic daw ng Congress dun sa mga dun sa binabatong impeachment laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte. Na ito po talaga yung tunay. Ito po ang tunay na kalagayan. Ito yung tunay, yung kailangan natin pagtuunan ng pansin, hindi yung impeachment. Siya po yung nagsasabi na diversionary tactic daw yung mga ginagawa nila Attorney Lambino, Attorney Topacio, nila Pantaleon Alvarez dito sa ginagawang impeachment na to laban kay VP Sara Duterte.
Pertaining to what we call falsification of legislative documents.
Kaya po tinatawag na falsification of
Yes.
legislative documents because they're documents coming from the legislative branch of government, tama ho ba? And it's
Yes.
12 because they're allegedly 12 blank items?
Yeah, maybe if I can explain in one sentence how this legislative process is done. So House will file a bill, Senate will file a bill, and then they are going to approve that. And then it's going to be reconciled in a bicameral conference. And in that bicameral conference, there is no journal or records of the proceedings. So it's going to be discussed by the representatives of both houses. Whatever is going to be agreed upon, then that becomes the bicameral conference committee report. The BICAM report will now be submitted to each house for their approval. there is no amendment that can be
Dali
undertaken
po,
there.
I'll stop you there. So sa BICAM po, doon yung mag-uusap sila, si
Oo.
Senator tsaka si Congressman.
Oo.
Wala pong journal to.
Walang journal yan.
Ibig sabihin, walang record.
Walang record
okay.
dyan.
And
So,
then, pag nagkasundo po sila,
Yun ang reconciled version, yung magiging BICAM report.
Opo.
So, pipirmahan nila yan, yung mga members ng committee, congressmen and senators. And then, yung BICAM report na yan, ibababa ngayon sa each house. I-approve ng House of Representatives yan, i-approve din ng Senate. Then that becomes the enrolled bill.
via vote, via
Yeah.
ayes and nays, no?
Ayes and nays, wala ng amendment yan. Hindi
Opo.
na pwedeng mag-amend because yan, favor ka ba dito sa BICAM report? Yes. Nay, ganun, bibilangin na yan. Once it is approved, then it becomes the enrolled bill. The enrolled bill, ay yun ang papadala sa Malacanang for the President to sign. Ngayon, ang issue is, if there is conflict between the enrolled bill at saka yung General Appropriation Act, which will prevail? Kung magkaiba yung version ng enrolled bill at saka yung General Appropriation Act na pinirmahan ng Presidente, ang sabi ng Supreme Court in so many cases, it is the enrolled bill ang mag-prevail. So there is a principle in constitutional law na tinatawag natin enrolled bill theory. At ito ngayon ang hinahanap. Saan yung enrolled bill?
Saan ho natin makikita yung enrolled bill? Because the enrolled bill is the one that was supposed to be forwarded to the President.
Exactly.
Hindi ho ba?
There has to be an enrolled bill.
Yeah, where is that?
Well, it may be in the office of the House of Representatives and in the Senate and also in Malacanang for sure. Meron silang kopya ng enrolled bill na yan. So dito ngayon nagkakatalo dahil inamin nila yung mga congressmen na yung BICAM report, maraming blanco. Pinirmahan nila yon. So yun ang sinasabi ni Congressman Ungab na there are so many blanks. Ganon din sinasabi
Inamin nila. Sandali po.
Inamin nila.
Ang
Inamin ng
nagsabi
House.
po nun ay si
Stella Kimbo.
Congressman Ungab.
Yeah,
First, no?
First, yes.
Actually, kahit si Senator Amy Marcos prior to that, no? But si
Oo.
Congressman Ungab during a podcast together
Yes.
with the former President, Attorney Vic Rodriguez, and another
Ay no, meron talagang anomalya. Unang-una, yung pong hiningi ni Congressman Ungab and then pinatotohanan ni Senator Amy Marcos. And then yun yung mga lumalabas na file against them.
other individual, sorry, the name escapes me right now. No?
Yeah.
Doon nilabas, although of course sinabi na ni Congressman Ungab yun kay PRRD, hindi ho ba, na may blank items.
Yes.
Doon po lumabas yun. Siya yung unang naka-discover sa House.
Because he was former chairman of the Committee on
Appropriations,
Appropriations.
correct.
So alam niya yung mga mechanics yan.
Seconded by Kabataan Party List Representative Raul Manuel.
Yes.
Okay, so dalawa sila.
Dalawang
Okay.
congressmen na. Tapos, nagsalita si Congresswoman Stella Kimbo admitting that yung fill in the blanks na yon ay finil
Even Congressman Stella Kimbo. So, ito talaga no. Ito yung wala ho talaga itong mga congressman na at mga corrupt. Lalo na po yung nasa taas na si House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Wala ho talaga to. May karma rin ho. Naniniwala po tayo sa karma. Ayan. And sinampahan na sila ng kaso. Patong-patong na reklamo, patong-patong na kaso.
apan ng mga members ng technical working group because it was their ministerial duty to fill up the blanks based on what transpired in the BICAM meeting of congressmen and senators. So there is admission na talagang blanco yung mga yon.
So, I'll cut you there again. Basically, ang pagkaintindi ko po sa sinabi ni Congresswoman Kimbo is that the blanks were, parang yung nga sinabi niyo, for final computation based on the amendments from both houses.
Yes.
Doon
Sino nga
sa
naglagay?
BICAM. So, kumbaga, parang, paano ho ba intindihin niyo?
Iniwanan niya talaga po nila na blanco eh. Baga, hindi blanco pag alis sa Congress. Pagdating sa BICAM, pinalitan nila yung numero, iniwanan nilang blanco. Sumunod na araw, sumunod na linggo, executive session, BICAM ulit sa Manila Hotel na. Doon siguro nila pinunan ng mga numero, yung mga blanco.
Nag-usap po si senators tsaka si congressman.
Yes.
O ito, ilagay natin to dito. O mag-usap tayo. O sige, blank muna. Pero nagkasundo na tayo dito.
Oo.
Kaya yung team siguro o yung staff ang maglalagay nun.
Oo,
Mag-fill in the blanks. Tama ho ba yan?
Tama rin siguro yan, pero ang problema kasi, Pinky, asan ang records of proceedings ng BICAM? Asan ang journal?
But you're the one that said from the very beginning, wala
Wala.
pong journal ang BICAM.
Wala, hindi
So-
sila naglalabas niyan.
So
It was
why
all...
is it so different now kung ganun po ang tradition from the past?
Because that is the problem of the BICAM. Iyan ang problema na it is the real Congress, sabi nga nila. It's not really the House
it's
and
the
the Senate.
third
It's the third Congress. At is that is the more powerful and the real Congress, yung BICAM.
But how can you ask for something? I guess that's what I want to know. Kung tradisyon na po, sa pagkaintindi ko po sa inyo, attorney,
Oo.
na wala talagang journal sa BICAM, how can you ask for something when it's been a tradition that
Yes.
there is no journal during the BICAM?
So this is the right time for us because of this issue that we can correct this procedure. Perhaps it is high time for purposes of transparency and accountability, which is what we want, yung transparent and accountable yung government natin.
In fact, even there are business groups that have given their recommendations on how to make it more transparent, yung
Exactly.
BICAM. The reason I say that, attorney, is because nakikita man po natin that they defend the budget, yung mga agencies are defending the budget through a congressman or a senator, hindi
Yes,
po ba? Meron
yes.
silang sponsor na tinatawag.
Yes.
And all that is televised. I mean, we can see that on YouTube, on their respective, at the House of Representatives
Yeah.
page or the Senate. Ang problema pagdating sa BICAM,
Wala na yung
Wala na.
napag-usapan.
Oo.
Everything that were discussed in the House or in the Senate,
we don't
baliwala
know
na.
what's
We really
going
don't know. So,
on
walang
there.
transparency.
So after all the hours and hours of meetings by
Yes.
the House and the
Yes.
Senate, pagdating po ng BICAM, something happens.
That's right.
di po ba?
And I know that very
For
well.
reconciliation purposes.
Yeah, I know
supposed to
that
be.
very well because I was staff of Congress since 1987 in the House of Representatives. I was consultant of almost all the speakers until Speaker Gloria Macapagal Arroyo in 2016-2019. Naging consultant ako dyan eh. And then I was also chief of staff in the Senate
Okay.
of Senator Lauren Ligarda and consultant also of some of the senators. So I know the mechanics. I know how the legislative process is running there in both houses of Congress. Kaya yun na rin ang observation ko noon pa na ang talagang makapangyarihan dito ay yung BICAM.
Po.
Yung BICAM.
All right, we're gonna pause for a quick break because we still have another guest joining us. We're going to take a short break right now. The complaint, we're gonna talk about
Ayan po talaga na napakamalaki na po talaga ng mga congressman na to. Lalo na po yan si Martin Tambaloslos Romualdez. Isa pong napakalaking tinig ng nitong mamang to sa administrasyong ito. Ito yung magpapahamak, ito yung magpapalugso sa administrasyong Marcos sa kasalukuyan. Tandaan nyo yan. Yan ho yung malaking malaking halimaw. Tuloy natin.
about this topic with Attorney Raul Lambino and Attorney Trixie Angeles. After the break, stay tuned. This is On Point.
Attorney Trix. Attorney Trix Angeles. Mabigat din po itong
This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Rojas.
And I'm Erica Christensen.
Luka Doncic's shocking trade to the Lakers costs him $116 million. Trump signs executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports. Buds Wenceslao talking about helping build the future of sports through Parka. The Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport, right here on the Billionario News Channel.
She's not just building houses, she's creating communities and changing lives. A youthful force in a male-dominated industry. Kilalanin si Pami Olivares Vital, CEO ng Ovia Land. Ang kanyang kwento dito lamang sa Usapang Bilyonaryo. Ngayong Lunes, 8:30 p.m. sa Billionario News Channel.
From the filing of candidacies until the last ballot is counted, Your newest trusted news source, BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel, will be at the forefront to guide your decisions and guard your vote. Tune in to BNC's Election 2025 special coverage. At BNC, 12 noon doesn't mean break. We're always ready to give you the latest news, even at noon.
And those are the news this hour. Here at home, the Commission on Elections assures the Public Attorney's Office files new complaints. NGCP assures the public its Chinese investors are no threat.
Join Maya Rodriguez, delivering fresh news for you. Newsfeed at noon.
Keep it here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel.
Welcome back. You're watching On Point. Joining our discussion, Attorney Raul Lambino, and now also Attorney Trixie Angeles, another supporter of the complaint against several lawmakers. I'll go straight to Attorney Trixie. Attorney Raul, I hope you don't mind. No? So the problem that you see here, Attorney Trixie, in summary, really is what? Just the blank. I'm not going to say just the blank lines.
Well, it's falsification. I'm sorry if I disagree with Attorney Lambino, but a technical staff can only interfere. Well, the only thing they can do with the document is correct typographical errors or grammatical corrections.
Yeah.
So if filling the blanks is not within the purview of any of the technical staff. So if it is blank, the presumption is that there is no amount that's laid out there. And therefore, if you fill it in, it becomes falsification of a legislative document.
Oh.
So it's fairly simple. The problem lang talaga.
Yan po mga kababayan, falsification of documents. Nakakatuwa naman itong mga tao natin.
Is pinpointing liability. So ultimately, the liability lies with the House Speaker for being, of course, parang command responsibility because eventually he's the one who signs off on it.
Bakit po ang mga congressmen lang ang kinasuhan dito or nireklamo when it is BICAM? May senador at merong congressman. Go ahead, Attorney Trixie.
Because there are no proceedings for the House in plenary. The Senate, after the bicameral conference committee, they held a plenary session, approved everything. But they didn't touch on the blanks. They just approved everything. The House has no records. So ultimately, since the...
Sorry po, hindi ko maintindihan. I didn't quite get that.
After the BICAM,
Yeah.
the bill goes back to both the Senate
Correct.
and the House for approval at the plenary, and then it becomes an enrolled bill. Okay, the Senate held a hearing. They went to plenary and approved everything, and they have records.
Ibig sabihin, sa Senado na pagkasunduan nila, nandun yung dokumento, walang blanco. Sa Congress, yung napagkasunduan nila sa plenary debate, etc. sa lahat, wala silang maipakitang ganun. Ayan, tuloy natin.
Of what was talked about. The House has no records. Although they should have gone back through plenary, it's not even in the House records that they even met.
You know why I don't understand that? Is because I asked that same question to Congressman Raul Manuel.
Yeah.
Sabi ko, ano ba nangyari? Kasi sinasabi ni Congressman Ungab, natanggap ko yung email copy ng 6 p.m. of December 11, di ba? Sabi ni Congressman Manuel, if I'm not mistaken, he was at the House. Sila naman nakatanggap ng hard copy. Kasi nandun sila eh.
Yeah.
Supposed to be. Sila Congressman Unga, because they weren't there, they were sent a soft copy via email. Tapos tinanong ko si Congressman Raul, I hope tama po yung pagkaalala ko. Sabi ko, paano botohan po dito? Ayes and nays. So sabi ko, so nagkaroon po ng ayes and nays. So,
Exactly.
So I don't understand why you're saying hindi nagkaroon ng plenary.
It's not in the records. When you search in the House, you look at the calendar, nothing has been calendared. In fact, that's contained in the complaint. Well, in addition to that, revenue bills and appropriations bills originate in the House.
Emanate from the
So
House.
after they go to the Senate, they go to the BICAM, the last touch will still be the House. So sila
Is
po
that
yung...
so?
Yes, because it's their bill. It's
Kahit
required by the
nag-BICAM na?
Constitution. Yeah. Well, may mga bills that originate in the Senate. So sila din yung last na gagawa before it goes to the President.
Ano yung mga bills that originate from the Senate?
It can be anything except tax, revenue bills, appropriations.
And local bills.
And local bills, correct. So,
Well, if I may add to
Go
that,
ahead,
no?
Attorney Raul, please.
Kasi yung admission ni Congresswoman Kimpo na sinabi niya na trabaho na ng technical working group yung mag-fill in the blanks or ministerial duty. I really don't agree with that eh. Kaya sabi ko, hindi trabaho ng technical working group yan. At kailangan patawag din itong technical working group at paimbisigan sino-sino ba itong mga members ng technical working group na nag-fill in the blanks yan. At kaya nga sinabi ni Speaker Alvarez when we discuss about this na isama natin sila sa Jando at saka Jendo.
yeah.
Kasi they really have to answer for what they did. Kung talagang sila ang nag-fill in the blanks dyan. Dahil bawal talaga yun eh. Hindi pwedeng gawin
And
eh.
what is confusing for me, attorneys, is that nung tinanong ko po si Senator Win Gatchalian, dahil parte po siya ng BICAM, to him, sa kanyang alam at sa kanyang nakita, walang blank items. Si Senator Risa Ontiveros also said there were no
Kakagatin ba yung, kakagat ba yun sa presidente? Aso niya yun. Sira ulo pala to.
blank items. This is where I'm confused. Why does a Congressman Ungab and Congressman Manuel say there were blank items, and there were senators who said we didn't see the blank items? They went on BICAM. How could that happen?
Well, it's possible, but no, Senator Bato also said there were blanks. And so did Senator Aimee.
Yes.
So you're right about it's confusing. I think the possibility here is that they presumed that everything had been filled out. And it's a good presumption.
Naka!
Atera is the IT painkiller. Remote monitoring and management, remote access, help desk and ticketing, smart automation.
For me, the senators are right to presume that everything had been filled up. Because that when it comes to them, it should be tapos na. They go to plenary. It's really just ayes and nays, and then goes back to the House. So it's a good presumption, but it's a presumption.
Okay. And then I think part of the complaint also is the 240, pag-usapan po
Billion.
natin, 240 billion, ang ginagamit po ay insertion.
Yeah.
Why? Because ito pong 240, if I'm not mistaken, ito po yung napasok dun sa mga sinasabing
Yes.
12 na blank items, tama
Yes.
ho ba? NIA, and some items in the DA. Please
Yes.
go ahead and explain.
Well, that's what they filled in the blanks,
Yeah.
and this is what appears in the General Appropriations Act. So you have BICAM, which has blanks, and then somewhere along the way, and then it appears in the GAA. That's why they were asking for the enrolled bill, the bill that is finalized before it goes to the President. So sabi nila, it's posted, but it wasn't right away. So meron ding gap sa time in uploading the so-called enrolled bill. Although the term enrolled bill actually refers to a doctrine. The doctrine means that we presume that when a bill goes up to the President, that everything has been properly done by the legislature. And we can make a presumption that this was done with regularity. But since it is a presumption, it can be overturned by contrary evidence. And the contrary evidence here is the bicameral conference committee report.
Ganito kung bakit sinasabing insertion dyan. Pag nag-prepare ng budget kasi ang national government, nagkakaroon ng budget call yan. As early as first quarter of the year.
That's correct.
So may budget call yan. So dadaan yan sa Provincial Development Council, dadaan sa City Development Council, Regional Development Council, then it goes up to the Department Budget Coordinating Council, and then it becomes NEP, National Expenditure Program. Ibig sabihin yan, pinag-aralan ng mga agencies natin yung lahat ng gagastusin ng national
executive
government.
ba yan? Si NEP?
Si NEP.
National
Kaya
Expenditure
sinasubmit yan
Program.
ngayon sa Congress. Although, Congress can also amend the NEP in a way. Pero
Pababa.
kung hindi pumasa doon sa Coordinating Council at tapos lahat namangled na, then it becomes an insertion. And meaning to say, hindi yung tama, Pinky, kasi pagdating sa implementation ng project, imagine that 240 billion pesos is no peanuts, no? At hindi yung pinag-aralan sa baba, paano yung proper execution yan. Hindi nila alam ngayon ng mga regional offices, provincial offices, district offices ng national government how to implement the money that were inserted in the GAA. Kaya wasted money yan. wasted money yung mga insertions na yan. It's going to be something na masasabi natin na talo ang Pilipino dyan, talo ang mga taxpayer, talo tayo dyan kasi hindi may implement.
In the complaint, they call it an insertion because the blanks are presumed to have zero amount. Since there's no amount stated, we can presume that there is no allocation for that particular item. So if an allocation suddenly appears in the GAA, it's an insertion.
Yeah, but how can you presume that NIA will have a zero budget? Kasi NIA is one of the 12 eh.
Yes.
How can you assume, Attorney Trixie, that zero po yun?
Because it states in the
Yeah, because it's
bicameral
blank.
conference. Yes.
Yeah, but common sense would dictate it cannot be zero.
But what
right?
is written or not written will prevail. It's like a contract. Pwedeng nag-usap tayo, we agree on something, but what appears in the contract will bind you. So the same here.
So hindi po, I know you
Nako, ito po, patong-patong na kaso ang isinampa nila Attorney Lambino, Attorney Jimmy Bondoc, Attorney Topacio dito kay Martin Romualdez, no. Ayun po, diretso natin, putulin ko lang saglit. Doon tayo sa susunod na sa kabilang kalye, sa susunod na kabanata. Sa lahat po na hindi pa nakaka-subscribe, hit the bottom subscribers, notification, ayan po. Sa baba po, makikita nyo lahat yan. Okay, hanggang dito na lang po muna.